So this bipolar junction transistor basically consists of three terminals: emitter, base and collector, right? So this junction transistor or the semiconductor transistor are the advanced forms of the triodes, vacuum triodes, which was initially used, or you can say it is the solid state version of the vacuum triodes. So Bardeen, Brayton and Shockley has invented this point contact transistor in the Bell Telephone Laboratory in the year of 1947, and the publicly announced this version of this solid state transistor has been coming out in the world. It is on 1948, June of 1948. Okay, so a junction transistor is basically a solid state version of the vacuum triode, and it made up of semiconductor material, either germanium or silicon. Okay, so a basic idea, it is basically a sandwiching form of the p-type thin layer between two n-type layers. Okay, so a p-type thin layer is used to sandwich between a two n-type layer. So such type of transistor which has been formed by taking p-type between two n-type are known as NPN transistor. Or if we take the reverse one, that is a n-type layer is sandwiched between two p-type layer, this is known as PNP transistor. Okay, so this junction transistor, or simply if we say BJT, that is bipolar junction transistor, it is basically of two types. One is PNP, another one is NPN. All of you are having the idea of this, right? All of you know there's two types of transistor. It has three terminals, right? So the middle terminal, it is base, one is emitter, one is collector, right? So there are two junctions. Okay, I'm just drawing. Either this is PNP or either it is NPN. PNP, NPN. This terminal, this is known as emitter, sorry, emitter, base, collector, same, it is emitter, base, collector. There are two junctions between two different semiconductor material. One is emitter to base and there is base to collector. That is, this junction is emitter to base, this junction is base to collector. Okay, so if we go with the doping profile of this three region, base is lightly doped, right? Collector is most, or you can say moderately doped, and emitter is heavily doped. So less doping is done with the base, then comes to the term for the collector, then it will be for the emitter. And if we go with the physical configuration of this three region, base is having very narrow width, then it will be for the emitter, then it will be for the collector. Collector is having maximum width. So from the name itself you will get the hints why it's supposed to have the maximum width to collect something. What it is collecting? It is collecting the charge carriers. So it may be either holes, it may be either electrons. So circuit symbol for this PNP transistor, it is like this. This arrowhead is inside. For the NPN transistor, the arrowhead will be outside. This is for the PNP transistor, this is for the NPN transistor. Now, for most general case, if we go with the current directions for when it will be connected to any circuit, to any configuration, we'll find out different currents which has been flowing either through this base, collector or emitter. This is the terminals. Same for this case. So let us take the most general case, the direction of this base current, collector current or emitter current, something like this. IB, IC and IE, and voltage which has been applied across these junctions, either emitter base or collector base junction or collected to emitter junction, that will be like this: plus minus VEB plus minus VCB, and this one it is minus plus VCE. Collector is taken as positive compared to the emitter. Same for this case, we can take this IB, same way IC, it is IE, the voltage VEB plus minus, it is plus minus VCB, and it is minus plus VCE. So now let us check this sign for the NPN transistor and for the PNP transistor. So what are those components are there? Current and voltage. One is IE, IB, IC, VEB, VCB and VCE. So for this PNP transistor, the IE is same because the current is going inside. So the current direction is same. It is going inside. So we can take this IE as positive. Now this IB is also taken as inside, but as this current is going in to this transistor, so obviously the IB will be in the opposite direction. Though we have taken the IB is going in, so it is not at all like that for the PNP transistor. This IB should come out from the transistor, so it should be taken as negative according to the direction which we have taken. IC should also be go out because the IE is going in. So the component which is going in, that's supposed to have the components which is going out. So you can consider something like that. The charge carriers from the emitter which has been going inside in the transistor, obviously the charge carrier should have certain current, and that current should needs to flow into the external circuit. So this is the source. The load should be connected somewhere across this collector or across the base. So the current should be flow through this load. So obviously the IC should also in the opposite direction. VEB, it is right, plus minus VCB. Now this current has been flowing like this. So VCB is not at all for this PNP transistor, it should not be plus minus. We'll find out why. So it should be minus plus. VCE should also be minus plus. That is minus. We'll take why these two are reversed. For this NPN transistor, the IE should go out because this arrowhead is showing us or give us the hand hints that it should go out. So it should be minus. IB, it should go in because something is going out. So it is same. The direction which we have considered. The IC should also go in because this current has been coming out through this emitter. So it will be plus VEB. VEB, as we have been taken this one as plus minus, so obviously for this one it should be minus plus because this current has been going out. For this current is going in, so for this case we have been taken this one is plus. So going in is it is same as the direction of holes only. Going out, so you can consider the electron flow is in the opposite direction. You can better understand that the direction of the current, it is the flow of holes. So obviously as this current flow is in this direction, so opposite direction will be the flow of the electron. Opposite direction will be the flow of the electron. So if in this direction current will be flowing, in this direction the electron will flow. So for this case, this side is having electron, so it should be reversed. VCV. So flow of current is same as the we have been taken the direction. We have taken the direction in this way. Current flows also in the same direction. So we can consider this terminal positive, this terminal negative. So it is same as the direction which we have been considered. VCE should also be same because this terminal we have been taken as negative, we have also taken as negative. So plus minus, it is same. So for the time being, you just try to understand that the PNP transistor IE should be like this, IB should go out, IC should also be go out for the PNP transistor. For the NPN transistor, IE should come out of the transistor and IC and IB should go into the transistor. Okay. VCB, C is taken as positive, C is having the positive potential, base is having the negative potential. Emitter is also having the negative potential. So when we'll see this configuration, different configuration, we'll understand better. So why this voltage is having different direct voltage terminals are been quite changed compared to the PNP and NPN transistor. Okay. So let us consider first an unbiased NPN transistor. Doping profile of the different regions of the transistor. Emitter is heavily doped. Then after that the doping profile is lesser than the emitter is the collector, and the base is the most lightly doped. Okay, so we are representing this emitter doping profile as it is having the high doping profile, so it has been represented by N plus, and this collector, it has been represented by some minus because it is lesser than this N plus, and this base which is P for the NPN transistor we are representing with respect to some a normal sign, that is P. So first of all, the unbiased transistor. Different regions are there. Okay, so this is your N plus, which is your emitter. It is our P, which is base, and collector width is highest. It is represented by some minus, that is collector. So if we look into this kind of unbiased NPN transistor, so with the joining of this different materials, either it is N plus, that is NP, we are having the junctions. So this is NP junction, that is emitter to base junction, and this is PN junction, which is base to collector or collector to base junction. So within these junctions, when we have just joined them, it will have certain depletion region. So as this side is heavily doped, so depletion region penetration will be less in the heavily doped region, whereas the depletion region penetration will be more in the lessly doped region. So if we are having this much is the penetration, so obviously in the base it will have the highest penetration. Okay, so in the same way, now P is moderately doped, right, and N is having doping which is quite lesser than the emitter. But here, as the width is quite higher, the collector width is quite higher, so the concentration gradient will be less in this region. Concentration gradient will be less in this region, so the penetration will be more compared to this region where the doping is quite less. As this side it is having the concentration gradient less, so the penetration will be more in the collector region. Penetration will be more in the collector region since it has less concentration gradient, because this initial formation of this depletion region, it is due to the diffusion only. So the diffusion will takes place when we just have the joining between the two separate semiconductor. So this part, it is the emitter base depletion region, emitter base depletion region, and this part, it is the collector base depletion region. Now, if we look into this charge distribution, that is due to the immobile ions which exist in the depletion region. So, this side will have the positive ions because it is N side. Base will have the negative ions. Same for this depletion region also, it will has the negative immobile ions, and this side it will have the positive immobile ions. So if we go with the this doping profile, so we'll find something like that. Now if we simply consider this isolated semiconductor crystal for this junction, that is NP junction or this PN junction, or similarly if we go with the this separately this N material or P material or this N minus material, that is for the N emitter, P base and N collector, we will see how is the energy levels are being distributed according to the Fermi level. So obviously as it is N plus, that is having quite higher doping profile, so Fermi level will be quite near to the conduction band. For this P material, it will be near to the valence band, and as it is moderately or quite lessly doped compared to the emitter, so this Fermi level will be somewhere near to the middle of the forbidden energy gap. So if we consider the isolated semiconductor crystal, so if we consider solely this emitter only, so we'll find some conduction band, forbidden energy gap, and the valence band. This side is your energy level. It is in electron volt. So obviously this Fermi level will be quite near to the conduction band. It is what known as raised Fermi level. For the base, it is for the N plus emitter. Now for the base, this Fermi level will be near to the valence band. as it is P. So it is lowered Fermi level. It is lowered Fermi level. Now for this N minus collector, now we can say, as it is having quite lesser compared to the emitter, so it is somewhat near to the center of the forbidden energy gap, slightly raised. Now when we will join them all together, so this Fermi level should needs to be aligned in a straight line. The Fermi level needs to be aligned in the straight line. So taking this concept, so how this conduction band and valence band will take the formation when we have our unbiased transistor, that is all these isolated crystals are being joined together to form an transistor. So let us check that one. What we want our Fermi level should be aligned in a straight line. That is what we know according to our concept. This Fermi level should be at the middle. But our concept also says that for the N material, this Fermi level should be near to the conduction band. For the P material, this Fermi level should be near to the valence band. Right? This Fermi level should be near to the valence band. So this conduction band in the N material should be near to this Fermi level. So our conduction band will be like this. So if we consider this much is our emitter here, and this much is our base, and rest of the part is our collector. So up to this we'll say our conduction band will be near to the Fermi level. Next, our valence band here will be quite far compared to the Fermi level. So our valence band, it is for the emitter, it is for the base, it is for the collector. So our valence band will be far. Now this valence band in the base will be near to the Fermi level. So our valence band now it will shift towards the Fermi level. It will near to the Fermi level, and its conduction band will be far away from the valence band, that is for the base region, in this way. Now again our conduction band will be near to the valence band for the collector, but it is slightly raised. It is not at all fully raised compared to this N plus. It is P base, it is N minus collector. So this one will be somewhat near to the Fermi level. Like this. So this is here, this part, it is for the emitter, it is valence band, it is conduction band. It is here conduction band, it is the valence band, it is the conduction band, it is the valence band. Okay. So this is about the unbiased transistor, how this energy band diagrams are been there for the NPN transistor. NPN transistor. Now let us go with the biased transistor. So we'll find out for the biased transistor what happens, and how this current will flow in a biased transistor. So for a normal biasing case or for the normal connection configuration of a transistor, what we know that this emitter base junction should be given forward bias and collector base junction should be given reverse bias, right? N plus P N. So we need to provide emitter base junction as a forward bias. So these are the three terminals. So this forward bias means N should be connected with the negative pole or negative terminal of the battery. And for this N should be connected with the positive of the battery. So this power supply or this battery, this potential of the battery, it is recognized as VCB, or somewhere you will find it is VCC. This one it is VEB or VBE. So this side it is forward bias. So here the depletion region width will get lowered as it is given the forward bias. So compared to the unbiased transistor, this depletion region width will get lowered. This depletion region width will get lowered. So lowered depletion region. And for this side it will have the increased depletion region width. So obviously that increment will be more prominent in the collector region, because here it is having the concentration gradient which is quite less. So this junction it is given forward biased and this junction it is given reverse biased. So this depletion region width is get narrowed here, depletion region narrowed, and here the depletion region is widened. Okay. So if we look into the barrier potential, this side, if we look into the barrier potential, so it is having the less amount of barrier potential because it has already decreased like this, and for this case it has increased. It has increased more towards the collector region. Okay, now let us find out how these charge carriers are been moving under the forward biasing. What are the different charge carriers are been moving inside the NPN transistor while it is given the forward biased. Sorry, it has given this forward bias, it has given reverse bias. So we have our narrowed depletion region over here, and we are having the widened depletion region. Let us consider like this. So this is what our depletion region configuration. Okay, so when we have given the forward bias, this emitter is having the majority carriers of electrons. This emitter will have the majority carrier of electron. It is also having the majority carrier of electrons, but it is lesser in number compared to the emitter. This side, the majority carrier, this base will be our hole, but it is less because this base is one of the lightly doped region. So when this forward bias is given, these charge carriers will have the force which has been exerted because the same electrons will be pushed into this emitter. So due to this force which has been coming from this external supply, this charge carrier will tends to move through this junction, and it will go forward to the base region, and finally it will reach to the collector junction because this collector is given the reverse bias. So here this emitter, as it is having the repulsion from the same charge carrier which have been coming from this external supply, but in the this collector region, as it is having the reverse bias been connected, so it is having certain attractive force. So when these charge carriers are been found some repulsion from the external charge carriers which have been coming from the battery, so they will move towards the forward bias junction and move in the base region. So when they will move in the base region, they will start their journey in this direction. Okay. So when they will go through this junction, because this junction is forward bias, it is having very narrow depletion region, so it can easily overcome this barrier and it will reach to the base. So when it will reach to the base, the holes are there which are been getting recombined with the electrons which are been coming from the emitter. So some of the electrons which are been reached at this base region, they will get recombined with the holes. They will get recombined with the holes. They will get recombined with the holes. But as this recombination will be less because the holes are been quite lesser in number compared to these electrons are quite more in the emitter region, the electrons will be further moved forward and they will move to the collector region. They will reach the collector region. They will reach the collector region. So after reaching the collector region, as it is having the reverse bias been connected, these charge carriers will be taken out from the collector. These charge carriers will be taken out from the collector. So now this side, it is having the negative been connected. So some of the charge carriers have been get recombined with the holes. Some of the charge carriers have been recombined with the holes. So from this region also, the electrons which has already reached, they will go into the collector. They will go into the collector because reverse bias has been connected, so they are been attracted. They have been attracted. Now here, after reaching this electron, some of them may be collected by the positive potential of the base. Some of the electrons may be collected by the positive potential of the base. So some of these electrons may get come out or taken away from the base region by the potential of the base. So what is happening basically? The electrons which have been given to this emitter region, there have been found some repulsion from the external electrons. The existing electrons of the emitter which have been quite higher in number, they have been getting certain repulsion from the external source, that is the electrons which have been pushed into this emitter region, they have been moving forward. They have been moving forward. Now when they have been moving through this junction and reach the base is having the opposite polarity, that is the holes, and these holes will get recombined with the incoming electron from the emitter. So they will get recombined here, and some of the electrons may be taken away from the base by the polarity, this positive battery pole which is been connected with this base. So some of the electrons may get recombined and some of them will can be taken away from the base, and remaining of the electrons will reach the collector region, because the collector region is having the reverse bias. So this positive potential which has been connected with the collector, they have been get attracted, the charge carriers are been get attracted, so they will reach this collector region. So you will find that continuous flow of current exists. This side electrons are been pushed in the emitter region, from this collector the electrons are been taken away. So we are having the electron movement in this direction from left to right. So obviously our current will flow in the opposite direction. So this will be the flow of the current in the emitter region given by IE, as some of the electrons are also being taken away in this way in the downward direction. So this will be the direction of the IB. These electrons are being taken away by the positive pole of the battery. So electrons are been coming out. So this will be the direction of the current. Okay. So you will find that the cumulative amount of IE which is been taken away or coming out of the emitter region, it will be the combination of the IB and IC. It will be the combination of the IB and IC. So we can nomenclature these charge carriers as, these are the electrons injected, electrons injected by VEB. So here what is happening? Only few electrons recombines with the holes, because number of holes are quite less compared to the incoming electron, which are quite more because it is having quite heavy doping profile. So only few electrons recombine with hole in the base region, as it is having only few holes. So let us consider this is the condition for the recombination. You can say this is what the recombination bin takes place, and here the majority of the electrons from the emitter region form the collector current, because these electrons have been coming from the emitter and reached here, and which has been taken away by the reverse bias of the collector region. So the majority of electrons from the emitter region forms collector current IC. Okay. So the main thing is that first of all these electrons are get injected in the emitter region. Now in the emitter region, as they are having already having quite higher amount of charge carrier, so repulsion will take place. And you can also think of something like that, here some diffusion will also takes place initially. So when the diffusion will takes place, so diffusion has takes place and the depletion region has already been formed. Now again, when these charge carriers will be injected, these charge carriers will further move due to the drift. Due to the diffusion, depletion region has already formed and it is lowered when we are been providing the forward bias. Now after the diffusion, after the formation of the depletion region, and it has already get lower due to this external supply, this drift will comes into picture, and due to this drift, these charge carriers will move forward into the base region. So base region, it is having very less concentration of electrons because the majority carriers are the holes. So some electrons will get recombined with the holes, some electrons may get recombined with the holes. So as a consequence, some electrons will get lost. Now rest of the electron will move forward due to the attractive force which has been given into the collector region, because due to the reverse bias already the charge carriers has been taken away. Due to that, the depression region has widened. So when these charge carriers will further reach in this region into the base, they will find certain attractive force and they will be taken into the collector region. So at the collector region, these electrons will be taken away from the collector region by this reverse bias. So from this region, as this electrons has been injected into the emitter, in this region the electrons has been taken away from the emitter. So in this way continuous flow of current exists. Okay, in this way continuous flow of current exists. So it is about the charge carrier movement. Charge carrier movement. So here we have not considered the minority charge carrier movement. We have considered only the majority charge carrier movement. So we'll go into that also. What is the influence of the minority charge carrier? Because here, as it is having the reverse bias, so obviously minority charge carriers will find certain forward bias. So minority charge carriers will also have certain influence. So we'll look into that. But here we are having the forward bias, so the minority charge carriers will have the less influence because that will be the reverse bias for the minority charge carriers. But here the reverse bias junction will have certain influence due to the minority charge carriers. So similarly we can explain for the PNP transistor also. For the PNP transistor, the majority charge carriers will be holes. Here it will be electrons, here it will be holes. So these holes will be pushed into that, recombination will take place, the reverse bias will take all the holes from this carrier, from this collector. So here we have only the difference is that the movement of electron is given in that direction which is opposite to the direction of the current flow. So for this PNP transistor, the whole movement will be the movement of the current. The whole movement will be the movement of the current. That is only what the difference is. Next, we'll see different operating regions of the transistor. What are the different operating conditions of a transistor? So this operating conditions or region of operations are been defined by the biasing condition of the different junctions. So we'll categorize something like that, different conditions which will be applied into the different regions or different junctions. First junction is emitter base junction. then collector base junction, then will categorize different region of operation. So first condition is forward reverse. So what does it mean? The collector base junction is given forward bias. Sorry, the emitter base junction is given the forward bias and collector base junction is given the reverse bias. So this is known as active region of operation. Second one is forward forward. What does it mean? Emitter base junction is given forward bias, collector base junction is also given forward bias. That is known as saturation region of operation. Third one, it is reverse reverse. Emitter base junction is given reverse biased, collector base also given reverse bias. This is known as cutoff region of operation. Now here a concept is coming something like that. Two junctions are been connected. Two PN junctions are been connected to form a transistor. So here we'll find this is N, this is P, this is N. So we'll find a NP junction, another PN junction is been connected back to back. An NP junction and a PN junction is connected back to back. So the concept, according to the concept, we'll take that two junctions are been connected back to back. One is NP junction, another is PN junction to have our transistor operation. So if we practically connect two NP junctions, NP junction means simply diode. So if we connect two diodes back to back, whether these two diodes will give us the operation of transistor? Obviously no. Okay, before that we'll find here this input side, this is the input side, it is given the forward bias, and this output side, that is this output is the collector where this charge carriers has been coming out, this output side is given the reverse bias. So this input side is having the forward bias. So for this forward bias is supporting this charge carriers to move inside the transistor, because this forward bias is, due to this forward bias, the charge carriers are get injected into this emitter base junction. Okay, and for this case these charge carriers are being taken away. So normally if we see, this forward bias is helpful for the current flow. This forward bias, normally if we think about a diode, the forward bias is helpful for the current to flow, but this reverse bias, it is not at all allowing the current to flow through it, right? So we can say something like that, this input side is having quite less obstruction for the charge carrier, but this output side, as it is given the reverse bias, it is having highest amount of obstruction been provided for the charge carrier, so that it should not move in the forward direction. But in another way we can found that whatever the charge carriers been injected, they are been found quite fruitful situation to come out of this collector region. Just try to understand. Initially when we have not connected or not given any kind of biasing, this forward bias, this region, it is having narrowed depletion region, this side it is having widened depletion region. Now when we have been given certain biasing, this input side it is forward bias, this output side it is reverse bias. So this input side, the charge carriers can found easiest condition or fruitful condition for the charge carriers being injected into this emitter base region, emitter base junction. Now this charge carriers, as it is having the reverse bias, so it needs to flow or it needs to move a wider region to reach into the collector region. Just try to understand, this depletion region is quite narrower. So these injected charge carriers which are been injected into the emitter region, they can easily reach to the base region. But the injected charge carriers which are been now on the base region, they needs to move a wider region or wider area for these charge carriers to move forward into the collector region. So we can say somewhat something like that. This input size, as it is given forward bias, it is having quite less amount of obstruction for the charge carriers to move forward, that is into the base region. But after reaching this base region, these charge carriers are found quite highest amount or higher amount of obstruction to reach into the collector region, because it needs to overcome this amount of depletion region width. So we can say input side is having less obstruction, output side is having higher obstruction. So how we can recognize this obstruction? These obstructions are known as resistance. How much resistance has been provided for the charge carriers to move. So for this emitter based junction, it is having less amount of resistance been given due to this forward bias, and for this reverse bias, highest amount of resistance has been provided. So what we can say, the charge carriers first found low resistance, then found higher amount of resistance. After coming out of this trauma, that is, they have been found a higher amount of resistance, then they are quite happy because they now are free and they can move into the external circuit. So this charge carriers movement, that is the flow of current. We can say charge carrier movement means flow of current. So the flow of current is having in the input side low resistance region, in the output side it is having higher amount of resistance. So the current movement initially in the input side is having low resistance, then it is having higher amount of resistance in the output side. So this input side of the transistor, it is low resistance region. The output side, it is having higher amount of or high resistance region. So we can say the current flows in the transistor from a low resistance region to a high resistance region. In a transistor, current flows from the low resistance region to a high resistance region. Okay, because the charge carriers first initially found forward bias, next it is found reverse bias. So this transistor is also known as, or this transistor nomenclature is coming out from the two term, that is transfer of resistor. Transfer of resistor. So how it is? Initially it is having low resistance, then it has been transferred to a high resistance region. The signal flow or the input signal first found a low resistance region, then it found a high resistance region. So that is what is known as transistor, that is transfer of resistor. Transfer of resistor, that is what our transistor as a whole, transistor. Okay, so input side it is having low resistance, output side it is having high resistance. So that is what the transfer of resistor or transistor. Now what I said previously, that if we connect two discrete diodes back to back, whether we can have the operation of transistor or not. So here one NP junction, another PN junction. So NP junction means, if we look into this circuit, that one diode is connected like this, NP and P, then another diode PN. If we connect these two with some external resistor, whether we can have the operation of the transistor or not. That is what the situation, if we can take out physically or practically whether we can have the operation of transistor or not. We have been given the forward bias, we have given the reverse bias. So whether we can have the transistor operation or not. So it is said that a transistor is a device with two PN diode connected back to back. But it doesn't mean that two discrete diodes connected back to back can work as a transistor. No, obviously it is not possible to take the transistor operation from a two diodes when it is connected back to back. In such case, each diode has two equally doped region, because this is one PN diode, it is also one PN diode. So both of the PN diode will be having the equal doping region. But what we have taken here, that this emitter is having heavily doped region, then the turn for the collector, then the turn for the base. But for this case, both of the regions, for this diode and this diode, it will having the equally doped region. So the overall circuit has four equally doped region. What are those? One is this NP region, another this PN region. Then what are the other region? Here the leads which have been connected with this N, and the leads which have been connected with this P and this N. So you just take out what are the different junctions are here. The discrete junction. So here one of this junction is this NP junction, and that is this PN junction. So it is inside a single semiconductor crystal or single fabricated device. Now here it is having this junction in a different device, in a different diode, one in this diode, another in this diode. Here this leads which have been connected with this N, the leads which have been connected with this P and with this N, it is also having a junction which is not possible or not exist in this practical transistor. So that is also a region that the junctions are quite more in a discrete diodes when they have been connected back to back. Okay, so the key of the transistor action is that lightly doped thin base region, lightly doped thin base region, the key of a transistor action. First of all, the lightly doped thin base region, then heavily doped emitter and moderately doped collector. But for this case, this P, this N, this P, this N are having the equal amount of doping. So it is not possible. It is not possible to take the transistor action from a two discrete diode connected back to back. Next, we'll find out different current components. What are the different current components are there in a transistor? So we have seen the charge carrier movement. So this charge carrier movement will give us the different current components. Now we will take a PNP transistor, because the direction at which this charge carriers will move, the same direction we can take out our current directions. So it is easy for us to take out the current components in the same direction of the charge carrier. So next is transistors current component. So let us take a PNP transistor. We have given forward bias, here we have given reverse bias. Sorry, it's supposed to be like this. Okay, I have given somewhat wrong. be okay. I'm just removing this because that needs to be removed, because this time it is our PNP transistor. It is not at all NPN transistor. Okay, let us take out different current components. By that time it will dry and we'll go with that again. So this P region, so that will be our positive, this will be negative, this one will be negative, yes. So it is plus minus VEB, it is minus plus VC. Okay, so this is about our different configuration for the PNP transistor in the forward bias. So in this P region, as it is heavily doped, the majority charge carriers are the holes. The majority charge carriers are the holes. So the holes will move towards this direction. So the direction of holes will be in the same direction like this. So this is the whole movement due to the forward bias. So I am not at all drawing this depleted region. So this is the current due to the holes in the emitter region, the holes in the emitter region. Now this P region will also have certain minority charge carriers, certain minority charge carrier. So these minority charge carriers are the electrons. So these electrons will move from this side to this side, right? This minority charge carriers from this P region, what are those? These are the electrons. So these electrons, it will found certain forward, it will be attracted, it is not having the forward bias, it will be attracted because holes have been injected. So holes are having certain repulsive force due to the, or you can say certain drift exists for these holes. So these holes will have certain repulsive force from this external supply and it will move in this direction, but the electrons of this region will be attracted by this positive of the battery. So these electrons will be taken away from this P region. So these electrons will be taken away from this P region, means electrons have been moving in this direction. So this current will be in this direction. So this current is due to the electrons in the emitter region, the electrons in the emitter region. So now coming back to this main stream of the current, that is the hole movement. When these holes will reach end region, it will have certain recombination with the electrons of the base region. It will have certain recombination with the electrons of the base region. So some current will flow in this direction because holes will get recombined with the electrons. Now only minimal amount of recombination will take place because the electrons are quite less in the base region, but maximum of the holes will move forward and it will reach the collector region. So that will form the collector current in the, that will the whole current in the collector region, that is the AIHC. So here it was IHE, that is whole current in the emitter region. When it will reach into the base, some recombination will take place and that recombination will gives you certain, or it will take certain charge carrier, that is some certain holes, and after that whatever the current will be there, that is the current into the collector region, that is due to the holes. So let us consider 10 numbers of holes has started their journey, and when they have been reached the base, two of the holes has been destroyed or get lost due to this recombination, then remaining of the holes are been there into the collector region to form the collector current. So that is what the main stream of the current. Now this this side it is forward bias. So for the minority charge carrier it will be reverse bias. But as this region, that is collector base region, it is having the reverse bias. So for the minority charge carrier, that will be the forward bias. For the minority charge carriers, that will be the forward bias, right? So this p side it is having the minority charge carriers of electrons. This p side it is having the minority charge carriers of electrons. This n side it will having the minority charge carriers of holes. So this hole will move into the p region and this electrons will move into the n region, because that is the fruitful situation from them, for them, because this minority charge carriers will found forward bias. The minority charge carriers will found forward bias. So we can say a total amount of current is observed due to the minority charge carriers into this collector region. So that current is known as ICO or ICBO. So I will tell you what is the full form. So this minority charge carrier current into this collector, it is the combination of two current. What are those two currents? One is the hole which are been coming from the base to the collector, and the electrons which are been going from the collector to the base. So the holes which are been coming from the base to the collector, it will have the same current like this. We can say this is the current due to the holes from the base to the collector, that is IHCO. And another current is there, which is the flow of electron from collector to the base. So these electrons have been moving from collector to the base, so obviously the current will be in this direction, that is from the base to the collector. So that is what the another component of the current, which is known as IECO, that is electron current, which is the part of the ICO. So these two will give you the total amount of current, that is ICO. That is what the total amount of current ICO. Now this base current, what will be the amount of this base current? That is what we need to find out. So what will be this base current? This is what the IE, which is equals to IHE plus IEE. That is what the IC. IC is the IHC plus ICO. Now what will be this IB? IB is the current which is the difference of this IHE minus IHC. Just try to understand. The recombination which is takes place into the base region, that is what the responsible for the current into the base. So we can say out of 10 electrons or out of 10 holes, if two of the holes are get recombined, that is what the current in the base region, that is IHE minus IHC. IHE minus IHC. Now these are also the part of the base region current, because some holes are been going from this base to the collector and some electrons have been going to this to the collector to the base, and this is the current which has been due to this minority carriers been exist into the emitter and it has been taken out from this emitter by the external supply. So that is what the total amount of current will take into or coming into the picture, that is IB is equals to IHE minus IHC. So what are the different currents we can write? One is IE, which is IHE plus IEE, then IC, it is IHC plus ICO, and another one is IB, which is IHE minus IHC. So what is this ICO? ICO, or it is also known as ICBO, that is collector current when base is open, or sorry, not base, emitter is open. Collector to base current when emitter is open. Collector to base current when emitter is open. Emitter open. So what does it mean? If our emitter is open, that is no biasing has been provided to this emitter. So this charge carriers which will flow into the external circuit, that is only due to the minority charge carriers been flown between the collector to base, because this collector to base is given the reverse bias. So this reverse bias will take care of the minority charge carrier current. So minority charge carrier current is due to the flow of electrons from collector to the base and holes from base to the collector. That is what the total minority charge carrier current ICO. It is very negligible. It is in the range of certain nanoampere, very less. So this current will be most prominent because this IHC is quite higher than ICO. So that this ICO will be quite prominent, or we can take out this current when our IE is 0. That is no biasing has been provided to this emitter region. Then only we can say whatever the current is flowing into the external supply, that is due to the minority charge carriers only. Okay, and what is this ICO? This ICO will be IHCO plus IECO. Okay, so same way we can take out the different current components in the NPN transistor as well. Okay, so this side majority charge carriers are the holes. So when they will be moving forward to the base, some recombination will take place and further movement will produce the final amount of current into the collector. Now this base emitter region will also have certain minority charge carrier, though it is very negligible. It is having, out of, let us consider, out of 100 only one will be the minority charge carrier because it is already heavily doped. So these electrons will also give a certain current. So these electrons will be taken away by the positive potential of the battery. So these electrons will be go from right to left. So the current will be from left to right. So we'll have this recombination current which has been flowing into the base region, that is IB is equals to IHE minus IHC. So let us consider two of the holes are been get recombined. So we'll have the current IB. Okay, we'll have the current IB. So this ICO is the magnetic charge carrier current because this junction is given the reverse bias. So this reverse bias region, it is given the reverse bias. So this reverse bias region will be the fruitful situation for the magnetic charge carriers. So this magnetic charge carriers will be flowing into the directions. So what are those directions? The electrons from collector to base, that is our IECO. The current will be in this direction, left to right, and this holes from the base to the collector. So it will also have the flow in this direction from left to right. So we'll having altogether the current is ICO. So these are the different current components in the transistor. Now based on this current, there are uh, different conditions we can take out, or different concept also we can take out. That is, in the active region of operation, that is this condition, we'll have the emitter junction is the forward bias and collector junction is the reverse bias. So whatever the collector current, what will be the condition of the collector current in active region? With emitter junction forward biased, the collector current, what will be the collector current? That is IC. So this collector current IC is the IHC plus ICO. So IHC, what is that? It is somewhat less than the IHE, right? It is somewhat less than the IHC. So what we can say, this IHC, it is a fraction of IE. So that is what we can write, that IC is alpha IE plus ICO, this magnetic carrier current. This is what the equation or the representation of the collector current. So what is this alpha? Alpha is a fraction of the total current IE. Alpha is the fraction of the total current. Alpha is the fraction of the total current IE. So what will be this IE? What we know about this IE? IE is the current which is, the constituents are the IB and the IC. IE is entering, IB is coming out, IC is also coming out. So we can say this IE is the total current, the in the external circuit. In internal we can say it is the IHE and IEE, but external circuit we can say this IE is the IB plus IC. IB plus IC. Now there are some terms or parameter known as emitter efficiency. What is that? The emitter efficiency is represented by gamma. So this is the ratio of the current of injected carrier at this junction. At this junction, how much is been injected out of the total emitter current, out of the total emitter current of the injected carrier. Of injected carrier at JE by total emitter current. So what does it mean? Total injected carrier at this junction is IHE, which has been injected at this JE junction. That is what the JE junction. This is what the JC junction. This is what the JE junction. So in the emitter region, the total current is IHE plus IEE. But out of this, only this IHE is been given into this emitter junction. It has been injected into the emitter junction, which forms the total current of IHC. So we can write IHE by IHE plus IEE. Okay, or we can also write IHE by IE. Okay, next factor or next parameter, it is known as transportation factor. What is that? It is represented by beta. It is the ratio of injected carrier current reaching JC. JC means this collector junction. Total injected carrier current in this JC junction. So what is that? This junction is been having the current of IHC out of the current which is been given from this side. The total given is IHE. Our IHE is the current which has been the movement from this emitter and it is having the destination to this collector, but in the midway there is having certain recombination. So out of the injected carrier current reaching JC to the injected carrier current at JE junction. So what is that? The carrier current which is reaching JC junction, that is collector base junction, that is IHC, and which has been given, it is IHE. So out of IHE only this amount can reach the collector region. That is what the transportation factor is. Now we'll take out a generalized expression for the collector current. So what we have been found in the active region, of operation, this collector current is IC is equals to alpha IE plus ICO. So this collector current, it is independent of VCB. What does it mean? This collector current, it is not at all depending upon this reverse bias, because this current having the source, it is in the emitter. It is only depends upon IE, right? So you will find the different operation of this transistor as like this. The collector current, which is the output current, it is depends upon the emitter current. How much current has been coming from this emitter side, how much current has been coming from this emitter side. The collector current which has been produced at the output circuit, it is having the source in the emitter only. So if somehow this emitter current has been manipulated, so our collector current will also change. The collector current will also change. So this output current is depends upon the input current, which is the emitter current. So it is somehow the output load voltage will also change if this emitter current has been changed. The change in the emitter current will results into the change in the IC, and if certain load is been connected, so the load voltage will also been changed due to that change into the IE. Okay, if our IE changes, either it is increase or decrease, IC will also increase or decrease. and that will result into the load voltage, change in load voltage. So we can say this load voltage or the load, somehow the load which can be connected, which is either it is a certain simple load or anything as an amplifier when it will be connected. So this load voltage will be depends upon the input current. So we can say this transistor action is depends upon the current only, input current. Transistor action depends upon the input current. This transistor action depends upon the input current, right? So whatever the input current, that will has the change into the output current, and that will leads to the change into the load voltage. So this kind of device where the characteristics, the output characteristics is depends upon the input current, it is known as a current control device. Current controlled device. Transistor or BJT, bipolar junction transistor, is a current control device because the input current results into the change into the output current, and that will result into the change into the load voltage. So we can say it is a current control device. So this IC, this output current IC, it will depends upon the IE, and it is independent of VCB. We can say independent of VCB and depends only on IE. So this expression, though we have been taken this ICO can be replaced by the current in the PN diode. ICO can be replaced by the current in the PN diode that consists of the base collector region. That consists of the base collector region. So what we know for the PN diode, the current equation or the volt ampere relation of the PN diode is, or VI characteristic of the PN diode is, I is equals to I naught e to the power V by eta Vt minus 1. So what is this I naught? I naught is the reverse saturation current. So this I naught can be replaced by this ICO. So from this expression, if we have been taking this value of I naught, we can replace here. So what we are doing basically, this generalized expression of the IC, which is not valid for the reverse biased collector junction but for any voltage across JC. This IC, it is not only valid for the reverse biased collector, it is also depends upon any voltage across this collector junction, any voltage. So if we provide certain forward bias, so we can also take out our IC because this IC is having main source from this IE. Okay, so we can say IC will be valid not only for reverse biased collector junction JC but for any voltage across JC, right? So that is what we have also been found, that is the current which has been flowing in the diode, volt ampere relationship of diode, it is like this, which takes into consideration of the reverse saturation current as well. So that is what we can also found, because this JC junction is also a PN junction. So this JC junction can have the current not only due to the reverse bias condition but also due to the forward bias we can also have certain current. So this magnetic charge carrier current can be replaced from this expression as well to have a generalized expression of the collector current, where this JC junction is not only provided reverse bias but also can be provided with the any other bias voltage. So by replacing this ICO with this IO, we can have this IC, the generalized expression, as alpha IE plus ICO 1 minus e to the power V by Vt. Let us take this eta as 1. So if our, let us go with certain another voltage Vc, this applied voltage across the diode. So if let us check whether we can come to this our actual expression or not from this generalized expression, then only we can say yes, this generalized expression is equally applicable for our case. So if Vc, when we can expect ICO, ICO is the voltage, which is that voltage reverse bias voltage been applied across this JC junction. So if our Vc is negative and is of large magnitude compared to the Vt. What is that Vt? Vt is the thermal voltage. Then this generalized expression will be same as this one. This generalized expression is same as, so e to the power minus a large value of minus e to the power, it is somewhat tends to 0. So we can say IC is alpha IE plus ICO. So that is what our generalized expression, from where if we take particularly our active region of operation where Vc, that is collector voltage, is negative and quite large, then we can come again to this particular expression of the collector current. So this is what our generalized expression of the collector current. Okay. Now there is another factor which is known as current amplification factor. So this current amplification factor is also represented by alpha. So what we have taken this alpha? Alpha is the fraction of the current, that is emitter current. Fraction of the emitter current. So if we completely neglect this ICO, so what we can found? Alpha is the ratio of IC by IE. Alpha is the current amplification factor and it is the ratio of change in IC to the change in IE, del IC by del IE, by taken VCB, reverse bias of the collector junction, constant. So for a constant reverse bias voltage, if we are having the variation in the input current, how much variation will be into the output current? That is what the amplification factor. And there is another factor known as current gain factor. Current gain factor, which is represented by beta. So previously what we have chosen as beta, beta is chosen as the transportation factor. Out of injected total current been reaching this JC junction to the total current been injected at the JE junction. Now this beta, which has been represented by current gain, will come to this current gain for this CE circuit, for the common emitter circuit. So for the time being, you just try to remember this beta can also be represented by the current gain factor as del IC by del IB, because for the CE circuit, common emitter circuit, input is IB and the output is IC. It is for the CB circuit where input is IE and output is IC. For common base circuit, we'll come to this configuration. This is for the CE circuit where input is IB and output is IC. So there is a relationship between this alpha and beta. Some relationship between alpha and beta. What is that? We have found beta is equals to del IC by del IB. This is for the C circuit. We'll come to that. Alpha is del IC by del IE. Input current is IE, output current is IC. So what is that input current IE? It is the combination of IC plus IB. Right? So let us find 1 by alpha. 1 by alpha is del IC plus del IB by del IC, which is 1 plus del IB by del IC, which is 1 plus 1 by beta, or 1 plus beta by beta. So alpha is beta by 1 plus beta and beta is alpha by 1 minus alpha. That is what the relationship between alpha and beta. So alpha is the current amplification factor or simply current gain for the CB circuit, and current gain for the CE circuit is the beta, and this is the relationship between them. Now as we know, there are different configurations of the transistor. One is common base, one is common emitter, one is common collector. So till now, what are the operations we have seen? It is for the most general circuit configuration for the transistor, that is common base. Transistor circuit configuration. So there are three configurations. One is common base. So what does it mean? Let us take a NPN transistor. So base is common for both the input side as well as for the output side. This is what input side, this is what output side. So it is emitter, collector and base. This base is common for the input as well as for the output. Another one, it is known as common emitter. So for this case, emitter will be common for the input side as well as for the output side. This is our emitter. Emitter is common for both input as well as for output. Another one is the common collector, where collector is common. This is what input, this is what output. It is connected with the ground, common ground. Okay, so from this configuration we need to take out the different pins of the transistor in the input side as well as for the output side. So for the input side we'll have the, for the common base input side is the emitter base, and for the output side it is the base collector, right? So this input current is the IE, input voltage is the VBE or VEB. The output side, the output current is IC and the output voltage is the VCB. Now for the CE circuit, input current is the IB, input current is the IB for the common emitter, and the input voltage is the VBE. For this output side, the output current is IC and the output voltage is the VCE, C and E. For the collector, the input current is the IB and the input voltage is the VCB. Output current is the IE, output current is the IE and the output voltage is the VCE. Okay, so in this way we'll find out the input output characteristics of these three configurations. So first of all we'll go with the CB configuration, that is common base configuration. We are going with the, sorry, that will be the input side. That will be our input, that will be the output. So we need to take certain load. Let us consider some load has been connected here. And with this voltage has been given, as it is the NPN transistor, negative, positive, negative, positive. So this terminal has been connected with a variable load. So variable input resistor, for this case it will be variable input resistor, and for this case it will be variable load, that will be positive, so this voltage we can take out as VCB. The current, it is IC, this current it is IB, the current it is IE, and this voltage, that will be our VEB, minus plus, that is the voltage which has been given the battery, VEE. This side the biasing voltage which has been given, it is VCC. So this total current what we have been seen, that is IC, it will be alpha IE plus ICO. So what is that ICO? ICO is the ICBO, collected to base current when emitter is open. ICO simply we can write as ICBO. So what is this alpha? We can write this alpha as IC minus ICO by IE, or if we neglect this ICO we can write IC by IE. That is what we have taken as amplification factor. Okay. So let us go with the characteristics, input characteristic. What is the next class? Chemistry? 1 hour or 2 hour class? Okay, 5 minutes I will complete. Let us go with the input characteristics. Input will be this IE, and this input voltage is the VEB, because this IE will resist the IC. So if we draw the characteristics with respect to this IE and VEB, so what we'll found, we'll have a normal PN junction been connected, that is JE junction. So for this case we'll have a diode which has been connected in the forward bias. So to have the current to flow in that junction we need to overcome the knee voltage, and after that we'll have the sharp increase in the current. So something like this, will have the sharp increase in the current after the knee region, after the knee region. So let us consider it is -2, -4, -6, like this. It is in the milliampere range, -8, +10, something like that. Let us consider it is 0.5, -0.5, this -1, -2, -3, like this. So this sharp increase in the current, it is for a particular value of the VCB. So VCB, if VCB is quite less, so VCB is less means ICO is also less, right? Reverse bias is less means this leakage current due to the minority charge carrier, it is also less. So we can have the less amount of current with the increase in the VEB with less VCB. So our VCB, if it is less, so we can say our IC is also, though it is very minimal, but we can say yes, it is somewhat less. Let us consider this current is for VCB is equals to 0. Next, if VCB increase like this, our current will also increase, though it is very little. So let us consider this VCB is 1 volt. This VCB for which the current is maximum, let us consider this VCB is for the 6 volt, like this. So with the increase in VCB, it conducts little better, although the effect is very not significant, because the large collector to base current cause the depletion region at the collector base junction to penetrate deeper into the base region, thus it reducing the distance and the resistance between the emitter base junction and collector base region. So this is about the input characteristics. So input is the applied, with the application of the input voltage VEB, we can have the current IE. Okay. Next, the output characteristics, which is very important. So this output characteristics will be between IC and it will be our VCB. IC milliampere, this side it is VCB. So this collector current, it is same as the emitter current but little less, little amount of less value. Okay, so let us consider, let us go with some values 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So initially let us consider when input is not given, that is IE is 0. So obviously IE 0 means IC is 0. Alpha IE 0 means IC is also 0, but there is some current due to this ICO. Some current due to this ICO. So this ICO is very less and it will increase with the increase of VCB. So at the origin it is 0 and it will increase with the increase of VCB. Okay, so this current it is ICO or ICBO. Now if we increase this IE, that is input current is there, so with the increase with IE, this current will be there, IC will be there, but it is less than IE. So if IE is minus 1 milliamps, so it will be less than 1, something like this. It is IE for minus 1 milliamps. Let us consider. Same for 2, it will be less than 2. It will be less than 3. It will be less than 4. Like this. Okay. So with the increase in VCB, it will somewhat increase. Now in this side, so this region where VCB is given reverse bias and input is given forward bias, due to that only we are having the input current. So that is what known as active region of operation. Active region of operation up to this. This is what the active region of operation. Now if we change our VCB, it will change our VCB. VCB change means VCB is given forward bias. So with the forward bias, ICO will get decreased. This region is known as cutoff region because VCB is reverse biased, IE is also 0 means reverse bias. So that is what the cutoff region. Now this side, if we increase the negative of VCB, or if we consider VCB is been negative, if this is the negative due to the reverse bias, if we have been going to the positive, though we have been coming into the left axis, so let us consider VCB is given the opposite polarity to make it is forward. It is plus 1 plus 2 like this. So what will happen? So that side is also forward bias. So forward bias means none of the potential is been present from the battery to take charge carriers from the collector which have been coming from the emitter. Emitter current is been already reached to the base and they have been ready to go into the collector, but there is no one to take those charge carriers from the collector region because it has been given forward bias. So forward bias means there will be repulsions from the same charge carriers. So this current will get decreased. They have been getting decreased like this. They have been getting decreased. They will get decreased with the forward bias been given in the, they will gradually fall down this current. So that is what this region is known as saturation region. This region is known as saturation region because this side, this collector base junction is given the forward bias. So forward bias means repulsion from the charge carriers from the battery. Battery negative has been connected with this collector. So negative, the electrons will get repelled. So the charge carrier will be not taken away from the collector. So there will be less amount of current into the external circuit. So as a consequence, it will has the repulsion or the gradual decrease of the current into the collector region. Clear? So I am just concluding up to this.